Went back and looked at
for
it.
sure.
That's what they said.
Everybody have a chance.
From a basketball perspective, though, as we look ahead to this matchup, I think the Hornets were exactly what the Eastern Conference really needed. Shot of life, fun to watch. There's some moxie that's out on the floor, some of those highlight clips, those one-legged threes. But in a matchup, and it would have been disappointing. Like, I think you would have said, hey, like, it was a great season for Charlotte. Had they lost that game, now they win it, still get an opportunity to move on here against an Orlando team. This feels like a good matchup.
I'll tell you one thing. It's exciting because you got a young core that figured it out.
Yep.
They're having a lot of fun. They did, at one point in the year, we didn't know if they were going to keep the coach or let LaMelo go. They was in a tough spot. But I think what's best for the NBA is you got a rivalry. If they can win this game, you get them versus Detroit.
Woo!
And you see the smoke and the beef they have. They don't get along right now.
They don't like each other.
The league needs that type of matchup. Like, you need that rivalry back. So if they can do what they did, like, don't worry about what the 3-1 regular season record means. Like Darren said, that doesn't mean nothing. We could get swept in the regular season and sweep somebody in the playoffs. So this is a game where they should take advantage, win it, and they can get that matchup against Detroit they want.
Yeah, that game comes down to what in your mind? Hornets and Magic?
I think it's going to come down to LaMelo and Khan. I don't think Khan and LaMelo can have the shooting night that they did and win this game on the road, right? I think LaMelo has to have a better shooting efficiency. And look, a lot's being put on his shoulder as the guy, right? And this is how it's supposed to be. Khan is a rookie, but he has a responsibility, and I think he can deliver. If those guys shoot the ball really well, along with Miles Bridges, who needs a little bit more credit, he played well.
Yes.
Brandon Miller, who played well as well. I think they're going to be okay winning this game.
Yeah, really looking forward to this matchup once again. You can catch it on Friday on Prime Video. We are just scratching the surface. Going to go through some of the matchups that are still looming for all of us. Paul, Mike, and with you, the head-to-head this season between the Rockets and the Lakers. Keep in mind, this is a different look for this Los Angeles squad. No Luka, no Austin Reeves to start things out here. So we're going to see a heavy dose of LeBron James being primary option number one, which is candidly not something that we've seen since Luka landed in LA. Houston's a team that's been playing some good basketball down the stretch, winners of 9 of their last 10. So, Darren, I'd love to get your take on this. The other day I was working with Danny Green. He was sitting on the couch. He's part of that Lakers broadcast team. And, when we knew that there were some injuries off air, I said, hey, like, how do you feel about this squad? And he kind of shrugged and said, it's going to be tough sledding. This is a different Lakers team that started to surge. We started to buy and believe in this team. Is there a path for them to get a win against Houston?
Yes. Why? Because it's LeBron. You never bet against LeBron. You know what I'm saying? I have LeBron trauma. You played against LeBron in the playoffs.
For sure.
Look, you've seen how he's been turning up in the last couple of weeks, right? Just imagine what he is in the playoffs. I mean, you never bet against a guy like LeBron because he is going to be orchestrating the offense and manipulating the defense at a high level, whether it's...
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. The NBA play-in tournament is almost over, and the first-round matchups are starting to take shape. The GameTime crew got together to break down some of the most intriguing series, and they did not hold back. They talked about the Spurs and Blazers. They talked about the Hawks and Knicks. They even talked about whether the 76ers could stun the Celtics. And let me tell you, some of these predictions might surprise you. Let me show you exactly what they said. Roll the clip. Did you catch that? Let me break this down because the crew had some bold takes. First, they talked about the Hawks and Knicks. Darren Collison said, if you're the Knicks, this is probably the worst possible matchup to play against to advance. And he is right. The Hawks have a stable of guards they can throw at Jalen Brunson, Nia Alexander Walker, Dyson Daniels, Gabe Vincent, Jonathan Kuminga. Length, quickness, physicality. They can wear Brunson down over a 7-game series. But John Wall added the key. He said, KAT has got to be dominant. This is his series to be dominant. He's probably going to have a forward guarding him. Karl-Anthony Towns has to be the dominant big that he can be for them to be successful. And that is the truth. The Hawks do not have an answer for KAT if he decides to be aggressive. But will he? That is the question. Now, let's talk about the Spurs and Blazers. The crew was impressed with Denny Avdija. Darren said, his been amazing. Another one of those guys that can create his own shot, make plays for others, competes on the other end. But then he added the reality check. He said, what he does really well is get to that basket. He's going to meet that alien down there at Wemby. Wemby is going to be that rim protector all series long, which is going to junk up the game a little bit. John Wall agreed. He said, this is all about Wemby. And he is right. The Blazers have a good story. They have grit. They have veterans. But they have never faced Victor Wembanyama in a playoff setting. And Wemby changes everything. He blocks shots. He alters shots. He makes drivers think twice. And if the Blazers cannot adjust, this series could be over quickly. Then the crew talked about the 76ers and Celtics. And this is where things got interesting. John Wall said, Boston's been in every situation. They already know if Embiid comes back, we know we have to deal with him. But at the same time, he's got to worry about guarding on the other end. The defensive end is what scares me with Boston. They move the ball so much. They're going to put him in a lot of pick and rolls. He's going to have to rotate. There's a lot of spacing out there. If they go small, he has to guard on the perimeter and move around. That is the blueprint. The Celtics are going to make Joel Embiid work on defense. They are going to put him in actions. They are going to make him guard in space. And if he is not 100% healthy, if he is still recovering from appendectomy surgery, that is going to be a problem. The Celtics have too much shooting, too much movement, too much experience. But here is the thing. The crew still gave the Sixers a chance. Not because of Embiid, but because of Tyrese Maxey and the chemistry they have built without him. Darren Collison made a great point about the Celtics' advantage. He said, this is why you develop chemistry and cohesiveness during the regular season. The Celtics didn't lose a beat when Tatum got there because most of their players have been consistently in the lineup. When Embiid is in and out of the lineup, it's very hard for Maxey to fit his game in. It's very hard for any coach to coach a team when your best player is in and out of the lineup. That is the difference between a championship team and a team that is still figuring it out. The Celtics know who they are. They have an identity. They have continuity. The Sixers do not. And in the playoffs, that matters. Now, let's talk about the Lakers and Rockets. The crew discussed whether the Lakers have a path to win without Luka Doncic and Austin Reeves. Darren said, yes. Why? Because it's LeBron. You never bet against LeBron. I have LeBron trauma. And John Wall, who played against LeBron in the playoffs, agreed. He said, you seen how he's been turning up in the last couple weeks. Just imagine what he is in the playoffs. You never bet against a guy like LeBron because he is going to be orchestrating the offense and manipulating the defense at a high level. But Darren added an important caveat. He said, the key factor is which team is going to make open threes because you're going to have to double team him and force other guys to make shots. The Rockets have to make LeBron pay for helping off. If Reed Shepherd, Jabari Smith Jr., and Tari Eason are missing open shots, the Lakers can load up on Kevin Durant and dare the others to beat them. And John Wall pointed out that the pressure is on Houston. He said, this is a different experience from what it was last year. You're projected to win this series with no Austin Reeves and no Luka there. So, the pressure is on them. I don't think the pressure is on the Lakers right now because they don't have their two other key pieces. If Houston doesn't win this series with those two guys out, they're going to be looking at them like this is a failed season for y'all. That is a great point. The Rockets are the higher seed. They have home court. They have Kevin Durant. They have a deep roster. If they lose to a Lakers team without Luka and Austin Reeves, that is a disaster. The questions will be loud. And they should be. Finally, the crew talked about the Nuggets and Timberwolves. Everyone agreed that Nikola Jokic is the best player in the world. But they also acknowledged that Anthony Edwards is a wild card. John Wall said, Julius Randle is my key for Minnesota. When he's going, and gets it going, everybody else gets going. He's a key piece because a lot of times they're going to go small ball with Naz Reid and Julius Randle out there. Those two space the floor and it kind of puts Jokic in a tough bind. But Darren pointed out that the Nuggets have the personnel to contain Edwards. He said, Cameron Johnson, Peyton Watson, Christian Braun, Aaron Gordon. They have guys that can kind of contain Anthony Edwards and kind of slow him down. And that's why I like the Nuggets. This series is going to be a war. Two teams that know each other. Two superstars that hate to lose. And the crew is split. Some lean Denver. Some think Minnesota has a chance. But everyone agrees that Jokic is the difference. He controls the game in any aspect. He can get you 30 points. He can get you 20 assists. He plays the game the right way. And when you have the best player in the world, you always have a chance. I want to know what you think. Can the Hawks upset the Knicks? Can the Sixers steal a game from the Celtics? And who wins between the Nuggets and Timberwolves? Let me know in the comments. I read every single one. If you enjoyed this breakdown, hit that like button. It really helps the channel. And subscribe if you want to stay locked in. We are building something real here. See you next time. Peace.